We are live on YouTube, but my chair keeps moving. Okay, so let me see. Oh, yeah. It wants to show you my kitchen, and my kitchen is. You don't want to look at my kitchen. I don't want to look at my kitchen. All right, hang on. All right. And my camera on Facebook is always like spot on for whatever reason, and I always have to make these crazy tweaks with my YouTube camera. So, are we good? Who's here? All right, I think I have everything. I think I have everything going on. All right. Oh, one quick thing. Sorry, I'm running late. So hi on YouTube, hi on Facebook. Good morning, everybody. All right. So today we are oh gosh. Well, one of the places we're gonna go is Pigeon. So think about all the things that are entailed in that pose. And so when I post those pictures on Facebook, they might be completely out of reach, and not always. Sometimes they're less ridiculous. Sometimes they're pretty crazy. But the idea is to get your mind working on what has to go into that, right? And not just to get into the pose, which obviously your body has to do this and that, and your quads have to be flexible, or your shoulders have to be really open, or some crazy thing, but also to get the space in here to go there. So you can get in, like some people. I have a friend who can just whip his legs into yoga like it's nothing. I mean, yoga, yes, of course, right? He whips his legs into lotus like it's nothing, right? But that doesn't mean he's practicing yoga. Right? Just because you can make your body do that thing doesn't mean you're getting into the space in here that really is what yoga is, right? So being focused on that present moment and going, okay, my quad has to stretch here, my shoulder has to be there, my chest has to be open, or whatever. All of these things put our mind in this space that we're present in the moment. Our bodies are connected to our minds. We're breathing. We've got yoga, right? So that's the point. So remember, it's never about what the outside looks like, and it's always about what's going on in here and in here, right? So do what is right for you as far as your body, and let's have some fun. So we're gonna start in child's pose, actually, and I know that's rather unusual. Maybe it's a little makeup for starting standing last week. I don't know. But make yourself comfortable here. And child pose is like this great thing, but a lot of times it's not super comfortable if you're not warm, right? So prop if you feel like you need to prop at any time in any pose, and just bring yourself to this place. And you can rest your hand or your head on your hands, or maybe on a block, or on the floor if that's where you're at. Your knees can be a little tighter together. They can be a little bit more open. Play with it. And bring yourself to a comfortable place here. Closing your eyes because there's nothing to look at anyway. And just letting your mind be present in the moment. Feel maybe your belly on your thighs. Feeling your spine stretch out. If you'd like, even here, you can have your hands back by your heels, letting your shoulders roll forward a little bit, just giving your upper back a nice stretch. Just kind of, again, be present and experience the sensations, even here where it doesn't look like it's any big deal. And then allow your mind to focus on your breath. So just noticing your breathing, you don't have to do anything about it. Noticing and being thankful for each breath. And of course, as we notice, we already start to deepen just kind of automatically here. So allow your breath to deepen. And if you're laying with your belly on your thighs, you might not be able to breathe into your belly too much. So see if you can open up your backside, feeling your side ribs expand or into your back even as the breath goes in and out. You want to keep the mind here, so present, connected to this nice, big, full breath, no matter what the body is or isn't doing at any point. And you can absolutely leave your eyes closed as we make our way up onto our hands and knees here. You take a second to bring your knees underneath the hips, wrists underneath the shoulders, letting your fingers spread wide here. And then we're going to begin in some cat-cow, so inhaling the belly toward the floor, and then exhaling as you round your spine toward the ceiling. And just moving in and out of those two poses, take your time. See if you can move evenly up and down your spine. Take one more flow like that. And then find the middle. So the shoulders are neutral on the back, the belly is engaged to support the lower back here. We're going to extend the right leg straight back, heel in line with the hip. And we want to press through that heel as if we were standing on the leg so that the leg is really working here. And then from there, extend the left arm forward. Reach out in opposite directions, engaging the muscles, keeping those big, full breaths flowing. And then release it, coming back down into your all fours. We're going to go to the second side. Same idea here. Extending the left leg. And the right arm, when you're ready, take your time. If you're struggling with your balance, maybe just find a focal point at the floor. And if you're not struggling with your balance, close your eyes. And we'll release that side. Moving back to the first side, extend the right leg and left arm again. Same idea, really actively reach away from the body here. Keeping the belly engaged, go ahead and take the arm over to the left and bring the leg around to the right. Press through the heel, stretch through your fingertips, breathe. And then release the hand to the floor. We're going to bring the toes over to the side here and come up on the left knee. So cushion if you need to cushion. Heel in line with the hip, belly's working. Let's extend the left arm and reach up and over. A couple of nice big breaths. Maybe draw the left shoulder back a little bit, feeling your left side ribs expand. And then coming back up to the top again here, go ahead and release the hands. Lift the leg, hold it out there, pressing through the heel. If you leaned a whole bunch over to the left, try and stay in the center here. It's more challenging, of course. Take the leg back then and down. And we'll go to the second side. So left leg and right arm. Finding balance here, get that idea of stretching away. Take the arm over to the right and here, leg round to the left. Bringing the hand to the floor, take the toes over to the side and come up on the right knee. So cushion, of course, if you need. When you're ready, take that right arm up and over. One more nice big breath here. On the inhale, coming back up, releasing the hands. And then here again, maybe just lifting the left leg. It doesn't have to be high necessarily. Try not to lean a whole bunch just to lift the leg. Staying centered, making sure your belly's helping. And then bring the leg back and down into that all fours again. One more time here on hands and knees. Extend right leg, left arm. This time bend your knee and see about reaching back for your foot. So find where you're challenged. Maybe it's the balance, maybe it's finding the foot, maybe you're lifting your toes. Hugging the knee in toward the center rather than sticking it out to the right. And then release the legs, stretch out nice and long again here. Come back down to hands and knees. So same idea on the second side. Left leg and right arm. Bending at the knee. Finding the foot over here. So again, just work where you're challenged. Each side could be a little different. So just gonna play. Maybe after you hold a little second, you can move a little deeper. Let's release that side, stretching long. Coming back down all fours. So nice and easy here. Go ahead and sit back into your child's pose again. This one might feel a little bit better. And you can adjust, right? So if you were in one place the first time, you can switch and add something in or change it up a little bit. Take the arms and stretch them out long in front. Imagine your arms reaching forward and your hips sitting back. So you get a nice stretch from your fingers all the way through your hips. Grounding into the four corners of the hands, let's go ahead and shift forward and come into a kneeling plank here. So again, finding that neutral place for your shoulders, making sure your belly's engaged so your hips aren't sagging or sticking back. Right in the middle here. Let's take the left foot over to the left side of the mat. We're still on that knee, opening up the body to the right. So the body looks as if it were standing up, at least on the right side anyway. Something weird with your left leg. Engaged nice and even with the left hand here. Belly's pulled in. Maybe the right arm reaches. You can take that arm up and over the ear, stretch toward the top of your mat. Again, drawing the shoulder back. Making your way back to the center, come back to kneeling plank. And do the same thing on the second side. So we're taking the right foot to the right and opening the body to the left. So adjusting here, if you don't feel as if you're aligned properly, move where your hand is. If you're having issues in your shoulder, maybe take the hand a little further forward of the shoulder rather than having it right underneath. So adjusting as you'd like. Left arm stretching toward the ceiling or up and over the ear. And then we're going to release that side back into kneeling plank. So you can absolutely be here in a full plank if you'd like. Keeping the body this nice straight line. Shoulders neutral on the back. We're going to bend the elbows. Bring them in line with the ribs and stop and hover for just a second. Are you still a straight line from the crown of your head to your knees or your ankles if you're in a full plank? Take it down to the belly. So the hands are next to the side ribs. We don't want them too far forward. unless that really jams up your wrists. You can have them a little bit forward if your wrists are unhappy with that. Otherwise, hugging the elbows in. We're just gonna work with the breath and roll the shoulders. So on an inhale, pull them up by your ears together on your back, down toward your hip bones, and then exhale, release that. Connected to the breath, in and out like that. And try to really rely mostly on your shoulders and your back and your chest, rather than your arms just yet. Your arms will get a chance. Let's go once more. And then release. We're going to work that and hold and add on, maybe. So the hands next to the side ribs, we're hugging our elbows in. We're going to roll our shoulders, holding here. Rooting the pelvis, extending out the chest. And then use your hands, hold like you're pulling your belly button between your hands. Press into your hands, keeping your elbows into the waist. Breathe. And then release. So keeping the elbows in as you make your way up and back into your child's pose again. And now it feels even better, right? From child's pose here, we're gonna make our way up into down dog. And allow yourself to just move and stretch and wiggle into this first down dog. Settling in, pressing down into your hands, ground into the floor. Pressing the heels toward the mat, even if they don't touch. Feel the stretch in the calves, hamstrings, back, wherever else you might be feeling it. And then let's go ahead and step the right foot forward, come to lunge. Dropping the back knee to the floor, adjusting the foot so that your knee is above your ankle, right? Not in front of. From here, let's take the right leg straight and find a little stretch. So we are really kind of working into our shoulders. That's one of the places here. So see if you can open your chest more. Imagine leading with your sternum toward your toes rather than rounding and leading with your head or your face or your shoulders, however your brain might be seeing this. And then we're going to bend back into the knee. Allow the hips to come low, but keep them nice and square. So imagine pulling your legs toward each other up underneath the body. That'll help. Bring the right hand to the hip, and let's add a little twist. Rotating the belly, side ribs, and the shoulder around. And remember, as much as the right side is drawing back, the left side is tucking up under. And then releasing the twist. Let's take the leg straight again. And you can add something in to make it a bit more challenging, whether it's just flexing your foot back. Maybe you've got a deeper fold this time. Maybe the shoulders are just finally getting together on the back a bit. And then bend back into the knee. So we want to stay really stable with our hips here, keeping that. And then you can add in or not. Remember, we're getting a twist, but we're going to see if we can make it more complicated. So if you have knee issues, give yourself a little extra cushion underneath that left knee. You can keep the twist simple by just bringing the right hand to the hip, but maybe climb up on the thigh here. Leave the hips nice and low, pulling the legs toward each other up underneath for stability. And then maybe this left hand to the outside of the knee and the right hand to the hip. You can pull to add a little bit deeper twist. And if it sounds entertaining, bend your left knee back there, lifting the toes away from the floor, and then take your right hand and see about finding your foot. Let your hips sink without getting off kilter. You can pull against the right knee a little bit more. Gently release what you got here. And we're going to come back to our down dog. All right, so same idea on the second side. Let's go ahead and step the left foot forward. Drop the right knee to the floor. Adjust anything you need to adjust here. And we'll take the left leg straight. Shoulders back, belly in, so the hips are square. Just finding sensation. We'll bend back into the knee. Keeping all of that as we add in our little simpler twist. Left hand to the hip, rotating around. We'll release that twist. Take the left leg straight again, and maybe find that deeper stretch. Bend back into the knee. And again, here you get to decide how funky to get. So keeping it simple, just left hand to the hip, giving that right knee a little extra cushion if you need it. Climbing up on the thigh. Right hand to the outside of the knee, left hand to the hip here. Sinking into the hips, pulling around a little deeper into the twist. And again, if you want to get silly, lift the back toes and see about finding the foot over here. You can add a little bit extra quad stretch if you're not feeling enough just yet. And then gently release what you got here and make your way back to your down dog. Take your time in and out of things, experiencing the in-between. And then let's go ahead and walk the feet forward, kind of standing fold. Planting the feet right up underneath the hip bones. Make sure your toes point forward and your feet are even on the mat. And then bending the knees here if you need. Take the index and middle fingers. We're going to wrap them around the big toes. If the legs can be straight, let them be straight. Here, bending the elbows out to the sides, drawing those shoulders together on the back again, and then maybe pulling on the toes and seeing if you can give yourself a little extra. Releasing the toes. These can be a little bent here if you prefer. We're going to take the fingers and then release behind the lower back. Draw the shoulder blades toward each other, stretching the knuckles away. Up off your back or normal, right? Just in the opposite direction of your shoulders. Keeping the neck long. Big, full breaths. And then releasing it. Let's go ahead and either sliding your hands up to your thighs if you want support, hips if you don't really need it, you can always change your mind, right? Elbows pointing toward the ceiling, we're gonna come halfway up and hold in the middle. So you might feel your hamstrings squeeze a little here, and that's not a bad thing. Keeping the belly in. And then hinging on an inhale all the way up. Releasing the arms. All right. So let's make our way into some sun salutes here. Remember to take your time, connect to your breath, modify anything you feel like you need to modify. So on an inhale here, let's stretch the arms toward the ceiling. With the exhale, take yourself into a fold all the way down. Halfway up. Let's exhale, stepping ourselves back into a plank. Take knees if you'd like knees. We're dropping down to the belly, everything together. Hands next to the side ribs as we roll, pull, press, maybe a little higher this time. And make your way back to down dog on the exhale. Inhaling as you step forward, fold. Halfway up on the next inhale. And then back over. Coming all the way up, stretch to the ceiling. And exhale, release. So just like that again, inhaling as we lift. Exhaling into the fold. Keeping the shoulders back. Halfway up. And back to plank. Exhaling down to the belly on that same exhalation if you can. Inhale as you roll into your cobra. Releasing that up and back into down dog. And then inhaling, stepping forward again. Halfway up. Exhale back over. And then reach to the ceiling. And release. All right, so let's add in with this next one. Again, adding in or not. Remember, you can always skip something here or there if you need. Inhale, let's sit into a chair. And then exhale, come over into fold. Halfway up. And back to plank. Down to the belly all the way. Rolling to cobra. And then releasing, make your way back to down dog. Inhaling the right foot forward lunge. Toes to fingers. Heel or knee to the mat back there, and then reach, lifting up. Exhale, come on back down, and step back to down dog. Inhale, forward plank. Exhale, down. Inhale, cobra. Back to down dog. Inhaling the left foot forward. Dropping the heel or knee and coming up. Back down again. Into down dog. And then last time, slide forward plank. Inhale. Exhale down. Inhale, cobra. And then back to your down dog. So you can hold in this down dog, or you can drop down into child's pose. Nice smooth breaths. Being present where you are. One more breath there. If you drop down, lift back to down dog. And then inhale as you step your feet forward, coming back into your fold again. Halfway up. And exhale over. Inhaling as we sit into our chair. And then exhaling to release it all at the top. All right, so let's go ahead and take a nice big step back with the right foot. And then adjusting your feet if you need. Left toes pointing forward, right toes head in a bit. We'll bend into the left knee to begin. Looking for the big toe beyond the knee here. Four corners of the feet, pressing down evenly into the mat, and then the arms extend. Keeping the shoulders over the hips. And as you hold here, you can play a little bit, right? Maybe you can drop a little deeper. Remember, your feet might want to open instead of just bending into the knee to maintain that knee and ankle alignment. And then from our warrior two, let's take the left leg straight. We're gonna reach forward over the toes and hinge over into triangle. Lean if you have to lean, use a block if you'd like. You can even use the seat of a chair here if that's where you need to be. Keeping the shoulders open, belly's working. And we're going to take this into a balance pose. So bring your right hand to your hip, bend into the left knee, and bring your left hand forward of your toes. You'll adjust it as you go, so don't worry about where exactly. Hop the back toes in, and when you're ready, lift that foot away from the floor, making your way toward half moon. So the hips are open and stacked as much as you can keep them. Maybe the right hand lifts toward the ceiling. Staying connected to the left foot. Connected to those nice big breaths. Release it, coming over into warrior three. So that's the direction we're going. So square the hips up. Maybe the hands are still up off the floor, maybe they need to stay. One hand up off, two hands, the hands flying, wherever they go, but now the hips are square. Balancing here. And then releasing everything over into a fold. Planting the feet up underneath the hip bones again. Take a little bend in the knees. And on an inhale, roll the spine all the way up to standing. So same idea on the second side. Let's see where we go. Big step back with the left foot. Adjusting the feet if you feel like you need to. Certainly, when you're ready, bending into the knee. Extending the arms. Big full breaths. And then taking the right leg straight. Stretch forward and hinge into your triangle here. We're going to make our way toward half moon. So the left hand to the hip. Go ahead and bend back into the right knee and bring that hand in front of your toes, hopping in, and then lifting that foot away from the floor. Opening the hips as much as you can. Stacking the hips, stacking the shoulders. Maybe even looking up if that's you. And then square the hips up again here. Maybe the hands on the floor. Maybe not. Listen to where your body allows you to go. And then release it all and over into a fold. Allow yourself to hang for just a second, adjusting your feet if they land exactly where you wanted them to. And then we're going to step back into a down dog. From our down dog here, let's go ahead and step the right foot forward. Coming back to our lunge position, we're going to change this one up just a little bit here. Roll over your back toes and then take the left knee to the floor. So your knee and heel here are a little closer together than you would normally have them. And I'm going to sink into the heel. So you're going to feel a nice stretch into the right calf. Keep the hips nice and low. Imagine pulling your legs toward each other here so you don't slide all off to the side, keeping the pelvis square. You can stay low or climb up on the thigh. The thing about climbing up on the thigh is that a lot of times your hips will lift. So if that happens, put them back down. And continue to sink with your lower body. Really drop in there. Get a nice big stretch into your quad. Again, maybe into that right calf. lifting and opening the chest. And you can add arms, pressing away from the thigh, letting the chest open more. Maybe taking the fingers again and release behind your lower back. Shoulders pull toward each other, knuckles are reaching toward the left heel. And then gently releasing the arms. Roll back over your back toes. Let's move back to down dog. Side B, left foot forward. Rolling over the back toes to then drop the right knee. And again, just start sinking. Ground into your heel. Sweep the legs toward each other up underneath. And then maybe climb up on the thigh. Sinking into the lower body, lifting the upper body. And then adding arms in here. So again, simply maybe pressing away to open the chest and lift it, and releasing the fingers behind your back again if that's you. Maybe taking the arms out into, say, a cactus or extended. Play with where your arms want to be. Where are you feeling sensation? Nice and gentle, we'll come back into that lunge. Roll over the toes, step back to your down dog. Let's drop down to the knees and sit back into a child's pose. And maybe in this child's pose here, open your knees a little wider. See about sinking your belly, dropping a little deeper into your hips maybe. And then we're going to make our way back into that down dog. This time here, bringing the right knee up behind the right wrist. Drop the left knee and stretch that leg long behind. If it helps, you can have your toes tucked under back there and use the floor to keep that left hip pressing forward. Or you can ground down into the top of the left foot. Kind of play with that and see what works best for you. And leaving the knee maybe more toward the middle of the mat or opening out to the right. There's a middle in there somewhere for you. Bringing the toes forward a bit, if they'll go. And then finding center. Right? So the idea of sweeping the legs toward each other still applies here. You can stay up on your hands, or you can drop down forearms or forehead to the floor. Or your stacked hands or a block. Remember, you can modify anywhere. So let's make our way back up onto the hands. And we want to continue sinking into the hips here. So if you need to adjust the right leg, feel free to do that. We're going to bend the left knee, lifting the toes away from the floor here. See about finding your foot. So we've been somewhere similar to this earlier. Maybe simply bend the knee more, pulling your heel towards your hip. I'm going to switch legs so you can kind of see what's happening in case you're a little bit unsure of what I'm saying. So we've got the foot, pulling the heel in. See if you can walk your fingers down your shin, bringing your toes closer to your elbow. So really pulling the heel in, getting a nice stretch in your shoulder. Maybe you can lift your left fingertips off the floor. And we were somewhere similar to this last week. Okay? If you can hook your foot, and it's not happening here, if you can hook your toes into your armpit, elbow pit, right? You might be able to take your right hand and meet your left hand back there. So lots of places to be. Take one more nice big breath. And then release what you got. Nice and easy here. Make your way back to down dog. And let's go to the second side. So the left knee's coming up. Dropping the right. Adjusting your left leg, so maybe the toes forward, maybe the knee open to the side or less, right? Sink evenly into the floor and then maybe drop down with the upper body. Let's take another nice big breath. And then we're going to make our way back up onto the hands. And then playing here, right? Bending the right knee, right hand finding the foot. I need to do the other side too. So play with it, right? See where the most benefit to you is. It might not be the deepest part of the pose. Find the stretch. Where do you need it? Maybe lifting the left hand, maybe not. Maybe finding your fingers back there. Maybe no stinking way. Okay. And then gently releasing what you have here. Making your way back to your down dog. Wiggle and stretch on your way. And then we're going to drop back down to into child's pose. Last one here. So really dig in there and enjoy whatever you got going on, whatever variation you want. Take one more breath here. And then we're going to come to sit up on the heels. So you can be on your heels, you can open up and sit between your heels, you can use a prop here if you like. If this is just not happening no matter what you do, modify it or not modify it. If you can't modify it, just kind of sit on your bottom. We're going to stretch our shoulders for a second here, so this is not bad. So let's take the left hand. We're going to bring it between the shoulder blades. And see if your right hand can help the left elbow point as much to the ceiling as it will. From here, take your right hand behind your back, walk up the spine, and see if you can find your fingers here. You may or may not find your fingers, don't worry about it. If you can find your fingers, you can lock them, right? You can give that a go. Sitting nice and tall here. Again, just looking for sensation. One more big breath. And then release the arms, maybe roll them out a little bit, just because that feels good usually. And we'll go to the second side. So the right hand between, helping the elbow point more toward the ceiling if you can, and then the left hand releases, sneaks up the spine, and you may or may not find your fingers here. And you may notice a marked difference between the sides, and that's completely normal. Don't worry about it. Just look for sensation, check in that you're tall through your spine. And then gently release the arms, roll them around a little bit. And then we'll bring the legs around front. Stretch them out, bounce them around if that feels good. Sitting nice and tall here. Engaging the belly, let's stretch the arms up. And we'll come forward into fold. So moving into maybe a deeper hamstring here. Hamstring stretch here. Big full breath. With an inhale, let's make our way back up again. And release the arms. So feet flat to the floor, you may need to scoot forward on your mat so you have some place to go behind you. Hang on to your hamstrings, C-curve your spine, and roll on back. Hugging the knees into the chest, just allow yourself to rock, massaging your back on the floor. And then we're going to keep the knees hugging into the chest, taking the shins vertical. Reaching up, grab for the soles of your feet and pull down, drawing your knees in toward your armpits. And they may or may not go in your armpit, just that direction. So wiggle. See if you can rock a little bit. And maybe here you can rock enough that you can bring a knee to touch the floor. You may need a little bit of momentum. Play again. And then come center and pull down evenly on the feet. Maybe you're a little deeper than you were initially. Keep pulling down with the arms, push back up with the feet. Push and pull in opposite directions. See if you can get your spine to become more neutral on the floor. And then release the feet, bring them to the floor. Take a second here, again, making sure that the spine feels aligned and neutral. And then let's bring the soles of the feet together and let the knees open to the sides. Releasing the hip, belly. Bringing the knees back together. Let's open the arms out into a T position here. Picking up the hips, take them to the right edge of your mat and let the knees fall to the left. Relax your legs. Let your spine be long here. Try and let that right shoulder drop back, even if it's lifting away from the floor. Just release. And it may still not touch the floor, but at least we're not squeezing it, right? Looking over the right hand if you like that piece of it. And then you can add on if you like. Maybe take the right leg straight, bringing your toes somewhere near your left hand. or just in that direction. And the leg doesn't even have to necessarily hit the floor, but try to relax it. Let it just be dead weight, just like your shoulder kind of dropping toward the floor, whether it touches or not. Take one more nice big breath, and then we'll bend back at the knee and come on back to center. Let's switch sides. Hips over to the left and the knees to the right. Take just a moment, releasing. And then making it a little bit more challenging if you like, taking the left leg straight. And then bending back into the knee, let's come on back to the middle. Once again here, drawing the knees into the chest, let yourself rock. And then hug the knees in tight to the belly, pulling the forehead toward the knees. Give yourself a little squeeze here. Release that out into a full body stretch. And then release your stretch. Bring the arms back down by your sides. And take a moment, making the body comfortable. So if you feel like you need to prop maybe behind the knees. You can take your feet flat to the floor, bring the soles of the feet together again. Lots of options. Just check in and make sure that you feel neutral through your spine. And then allow your muscles to release. Bringing the awareness back solely to the breath. See if you can completely release control of the breath. But keep the mind present. So maybe you just simply watch yourself breathe. Maybe you're feeling the sensations of your spine against the floor. Whatever little trick you use to keep the mind present and quiet. Allowing yourself just a few minutes to simply rest. Slowly draw in a deep cleansing breath and then let that go. Restoring small movements to your body, allow yourself to wiggle, move, and stretch. And when you're ready, take the feet flat. Slowly and gently make your way back up to seated. Sitting well. And drawing the palms to touch. Bowing to the light within. Namaste. Thanks for playing, you guys. I hope you enjoyed that. Remember, if there are things that you have questions about, certainly, shoot me an email or leave me a comment here on social media or text me or whatever. So, again, thanks for coming. Definitely share the love with your friends, anybody you know looking for an online practice, and have a great week. Have a great week, you guys. We'll see ya. Bye. Bye.